Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I'd like to go over the CSS we could use to create a navigation menu effect like this one. Okay, so this is soloshot.com. I came across this company a couple weeks back, and the product sounds cool, but I also like this basic navigation menu. They don't have a large range of products. So basically you have the picture of the product, and on hover you get this little semi-transparent card, let's call it, with the pricing information that just kind of pops up. So we can do that. So I'm going to use the same web page that I've been using for a couple of other nav menus, and if you look in the video description you can find a link to this page so you can check out the source code. Let's look at the HTML. So far on the HTML, nothing too exciting, certainly nothing too different from what we've had before. However, I am going to put a unique class on each of my anchor tags, and I'm doing that because I'm going to use 3 separate images, so I want to style these a little bit independently. So I've got that going on, and then I've got a generic text info and price within a span. The span is within the list item and adjacent to the anchor tag. So that takes care of the HTML. This is going to be my nav3, uniquely identified. Let's work on the styling. So my style sheet file, I will just scroll down here to a new section. And let's go ahead and get to work. So I'm going to go ahead and take my nav3 list items, list style type none, gets rid of those bullets, but I'm also going to go a step further and I'm going to go ahead and size these appropriately. I'm going to set their width to about 240 px and their height to 160 px. I know for a fact that that's the size of the images that I'm going to be sticking in there very, very soon. And in the short term, I'm going to put a little thin, I'll go a little thicker than that, solid red so that we can see those. And I'm going to float these to the left so they're going to be side by side. Copy this, paste. Now for the anchor tags. Anchor tags are going to be display block. And I'm going to go ahead and set their, you see me do this a lot. Technically, by doing a float left on these list items, I really don't need the width and the height set on the list items because the width and the height of the anchors inside would force their width. So mostly out of habit, a little bit redundant, a little bit unnecessary. So with these anchor tags, definitely display block. I'm going to have their width set. Let me go ahead and do a... nope, I was going to worry about the text, but no need there. So I think I'll just go ahead and start creating a few separate rules for them so that I can insert their images. So it'll basically looking like this: nav3 space a dot m1. And I'm referring to basically the class. My first image is going to be m1, so I'm going to go and create rules for each of these with their background images. There we go. So I've got the 3 images set as background images for their respective anchor tags. And on the browser, refresh. Oh, let's make sure I've got everything saved. I do not. Control S to save, browser refresh. There we go. So now those images are showing up, and now that red border is really not going to be too necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. So now I can see my images side by side. Now some text, like menu item 3, that's the actual anchor text. It's useful. I don't want to delete it, but I also don't want it to display on the images. So I think for something like that, what I'll do is a text indent, and I will just pick something like a negative 300 pixels. That should do it. If I save this and browser refresh, pushes things over. I'm going to go a step further though, and also do an overflow hidden. So basically the text indent is going to get pushed to the left. My anchors are only 240 pixels wide, so this will take the text outside of the anchor, and if it's outside, if it's overflowing, it'll be hidden from view. So go and refresh that so we don't actually see the anchor text up there, even though it's still a hyperlink. And for someone with a vision disability, that text is still going to be there in their special browser. Alright, so now that that's taken care of, I'm ready to start to figure out the cover-up part. So making the cover-up is not going to be tough, but it'll be a couple of steps involved. I think I will tackle that in our next video.